What if I told you that a simple $quarter, minted nearly 50 years ago, could now be worth hundreds, sometimes even thousands, of dollars, just because of its shine? Right now, collectors across the United States are scrambling to find a very specific version of the 1776 to 1976 quarter, the one with a mysterious silver-colored finish and the elusive D mint mark. It may be sitting unnoticed in your pocket change or tucked away in an old jar at your parents' house. But here's the kicker, only a small number of people know what makes this coin so special, and even fewer know how to properly identify the real treasure. So the big question is, do you have one of these rare coins in your hands, and would you even recognize it if you did? Let's go back to 1975, a time when the US Mint was preparing for something historic, America's bicentennial celebration. To commemorate 200 years of independence, the Mint released a series of special coins, including a unique $quarter with a dual date, 1776 to 1976. Unlike regular quarters, this one featured a striking reverse design, drummer boy Patrick Henry standing tall, flanked by a torch of victory encircled with 13 stars, but here's the twist. These quarters weren't all made the same. Millions were minted in copper-nickel for everyday use, yes, but a very small percentage were struck in silver-clad composition, intended for collectors and special proof sets. And among these silver-clad quarters, those minted in Denver, marked with the iconic D just beneath the profile of George Washington, are especially elusive today. But even more valuable is a particular visual trait, a coin that appears in what collectors are calling the silver shade condition, a gleaming, frost-like surface unlike anything seen in regular circulation. Now, here's where things get fascinating. Many collectors are confusing the standard grayish tone of worn quarters with the real silver shade finish. But true silver tone 1776 to 1976 quarters have a brilliant, almost icy luster that never dulls, even after decades. This unique appearance is usually a result of either being part of a silver-clad minting, stored carefully away from humidity and oxidation, or mistakenly released into circulation from collector sets. Either way, finding one in high-grade condition is like striking modern gold. Let me give you a real-world example. Recently, a 1776-1976 D quarter with a strong silver luster and excellent detail sold for over $1,200 at a heritage auction. Another specimen, graded MS-67 by PCGS with a silver shade tone, fetched $1,500 due to its stunning eye appeal. Even mid-grade examples in the $100 to $300 range are becoming harder to find, and as more collectors turn their attention to bicentennial coins, the prices continue to rise. Why the sudden surge in demand? Because the generation that lived through the bicentennial is now in their retirement years. They're nostalgic. They're collecting again. And they're teaching their grandchildren about the value of these historic pieces. Dealers across the country are reporting shortages of high-grade bicentennial quarters, especially the silver shade ones with the D mint mark. So how do you identify this rare gem? First, look for the dual date, 1776 to 1976, on the obverse, right under Washington's neck. Then, locate the D mint mark to the right of his ponytail. But most importantly, examine the coin's surface under natural light. Does it shine with a cooler, more vibrant tone than your average quarter? If so, you may be looking at a silver-clad coin. If you're unsure, a simple weight test can help. Silver-clad bicentennial quarters weigh 5.75 grams, slightly heavier than their copper-nickel counterparts, which weigh around 5.67 grams. That small difference could mean a large reward. Once you've identified one, handle it with care. Avoid cleaning the coin, as that can instantly reduce its value. Instead, store it in a non-PVC plastic holder or a mylar flip. Keep it away from moisture and air exposure. If the coin shows exceptional luster or sharpness, it may be worth having it professionally graded by PCGS or NGC. A coin that looks ordinary to the untrained eye can become a top-tier investment in the hands of the right collector. And here's the part that might surprise you. We are at the edge of a market boom for bicentennial coins. As the US approaches its 250th anniversary in 2026, interest in these quarters is already spiking. The silver shade 1976 D quarter is no longer just a collectible. It's a strategic investment, and the clock is ticking. Collectors, if you've ever doubted that everyday coins could build real wealth, let this be your wake-up call. The 1976 D silver shade quarter is not just a piece of history, it's a rising star in the numismatic world. While others pass them by without a second glance, you now hold the knowledge to identify and preserve a coin that could grow in value every single year. But these coins are disappearing fast into private collections, and once they're gone, they won't come back. So check your change. Dig through your old rolls. Revisit the coins you thought were ordinary. Because the next silver shade bicentennial quarter you find could be your key to a serious payday, and a lasting legacy in American coin collecting. The treasure is out there. The question is, will you find it before someone else does? Could the change in your pocket be worth a small fortune? Imagine reaching into an old jar, pulling out a plain-looking 1987 D quarter, and realizing it's not ordinary at all. It has a strange silver shine that doesn't match its peers. What if I told you that this oddity, this overlooked coin, is now one of the hottest collector targets in the US market? Time is running out, these quarters are disappearing fast into private collections, and their value is skyrocketing. In today's video, we're diving deep into the 1987 D Washington quarter dollar, especially the mysterious ones found with a silver color shade. If you have one sitting unnoticed in your stash, this could be your moment. The Washington quarter has long been a symbol of American heritage, first minted in 1932 to honor the 200th birthday of George Washington. It was never meant to become a permanent coin series, but its design and popularity cemented its place in our everyday lives. By 1987, the quarter had evolved into a copper-nickel-clad coin, no longer made from silver as it was prior to 1965. But in that same year, something unusual began showing up in Denver-minted quarters. While the standard 1987 D quarter was produced in the hundreds of millions, a few of them appeared with a bright, almost uncirculated silver-colored shade that immediately raised eyebrows among numismatists. These were not proofs or silver issues from the San Francisco Mint. They were ordinary business strike quarters, but with an extraordinary finish. So what caused this silver tone? Some experts believe it's the result of minting errors, possibly planchets intended for other coins, or a chemical reaction with certain cleaning processes at the mint. Others speculate environmental toning or planchets stripped of their outer clad layer. But here's the truth, whatever caused it, these coins are visually distinct, hard to fake, and catching fire in collector circles. Here's where things get exciting. In the past few years, silver-tone 1987 D quarters have sold for hundreds and even thousands of dollars depending on condition and visual uniqueness. One recently surfaced example with a full silver luster and near mint state appearance sold at auction for over $3,500. Another, slightly worn but clearly silver in shade, fetched $1,100 on an online collectible marketplace. These aren't isolated sales, they represent a growing trend. Collectors are not just buying them, they're actively hunting for them. The key here is visual appeal. The more brilliant and silver-like the quarter appears, the higher the potential value. Unlike mass-produced coins, these standout anomalies create emotional urgency in the collecting world. Everyone wants the next big rarity, and the 1987 D silver shade quarter is quickly becoming one of them. So how can you identify one? Start by examining the edge. Standard quarters have a reeded edge with visible copper layering. If your 1987 D quarter lacks the copper stripe or appears fully silver on the edge, you may be holding something rare. Next, check the coin's surface. If it has an unusually smooth and bright luster, especially if it resembles a silver proof but carries the Denver Mint mark, take notice. These are the coins drawing serious interest. But be warned, cleaned coins or artificially polished ones won't fetch high prices. Authenticity and originality are key. Preserving such a coin is essential. Do not clean it. Store it in a dry, airtight capsule or sleeve. Consider professional grading if you believe your coin has strong eye appeal or shows minimal wear. A graded MS condition with a silver finish can increase value dramatically. Collectors are known to pay premiums for authenticated coins with these unique characteristics that in a time when markets fluctuate and inflation challenges traditional savings, tangible assets like rare coins are gaining traction, not just as hobbies, but as strategic investments. The 1987 D quarter in silver tone condition has transformed from a humble pocket coin into a desirable collectible commanding serious money. Its mystery, its unexpected brilliance, and its growing scarcity all make it one of the most exciting sleeper coins of the decade. If you've ever dismissed modern coins as too common to matter, think again. Because the very coin that most overlook, the one quietly shimmering in silver among a sea of dull copper nickel, may be the one that changes everything. So take a second look at your collection. That 1987 D quarter in silver shade? It might not just be rare. It might be the next big thing in American numismatics, and the real question is, do you have one before they're all gone? Right now, across the United States, collectors are scrambling to get their hands on one of the most unusual and lucrative quarter-dollar coins of the modern era, the 1990 Washington quarter with a Denver mint mark, but here's the twist, it appears in a rare and stunning silver shade. At first glance, it might look ordinary. But under the right light, that unexpected luster could point to something extraordinary. And if you happen to find one in your collection or coin jar, you may be holding a jackpot without even knowing it. Stay with me, because in the next few minutes, we're going to uncover the truth about this silver-toned anomaly, and why it's setting the coin world on fire. The Washington quarter has long been a staple of American pocket change, introduced back in 1932 to honor the bicentennial of George Washington's birth. Since then, it's been minted by the billions. But every so often, a peculiar variation emerges that defies expectations. The 1990 quarter, struck at the Denver Mint, was supposed to be just another standard-clad coin, composed of copper and nickel, nothing more. Yet, beginning in recent years, a number of collectors began reporting 1990 D quarters that didn't quite match the usual profile. These coins had a distinct silver coloration, a bright, lustrous appearance that immediately stood out from the typical dull gray tone of ordinary circulation quarters. At first, many thought they had stumbled onto a proof coin or perhaps an error strike. But the mystery goes deeper than that. Some of these silver shade quarters were the result of planchet errors, where the coin was mistakenly struck on a 40% silver planchet intended for earlier coinage or commemorative issues. Others may have been improperly bonded or stripped of their outer layers during production, resulting in a pure, almost polished silver sheen. Whatever the cause, one thing is certain, these aren't just visually unique, they're financially explosive. So why are these 1990 D silver shade quarters commanding such attention, and high prices? Today, the answer is simple, rarity plus mystery equals demand. Unlike the widely known silver coins of the pre-1965 era, these modern anomalies weren't supposed to exist. They weren't publicized. They weren't announced. They just appeared. And that makes them all the more valuable in the eyes of serious collectors and investors. Auction records and private sales tell the real story. A verified 1990 D quarter with a confirmed silver planchet has sold for upwards of $3,500. Even coins with just a strong silver-like luster and partial mint errors have fetched $400 to $1,200, depending on condition and documentation. Slabbed coins, graded by PCGS or NGC, are especially prized. If the coin is in mint state, with clear detail and minimal wear, the numbers can go even higher. What's even more fascinating is that these coins are still being discovered today, in personal collections, estate boxes, and even random rolls from the bank. And because many people still don't know what to look for, the window of opportunity is wide open. For now, if you're wondering how to spot one of these silver-tone treasures, here's what you need to know. First, check the date, 1990. Then, look just below the "In God We Trust" inscription on the obverse side for the D mint mark, which confirms it was minted in Denver. Now comes the crucial part, examine the coin's surface. A genuine clad quarter from 1990 will have a grayish, layered appearance with a visible copper edge when viewed from the side. But a silver planchet error, or a coin with a silver shade anomaly, will have a clean edge with no copper streak, and a noticeably brighter, almost mirror-like finish. Use a magnifier and a scale. Authentic silver quarters will weigh slightly less than their clad counterparts, typically around 5.75 grams compared to the standard 5.67 grams. That tiny difference can mean everything. If you're in doubt, have the coin professionally graded. Third-party authentication not only confirms its legitimacy but also skyrockets its market value. Once identified, store your coin in an airtight holder, preferably in a cool, dry environment, to preserve its surface and prevent tarnish. Never clean it. Cleaning can instantly destroy its value. Instead, protect it like you would any investment asset, because make no mistake, this is an investment. In a market driven by rarity, history, and visual allure, the 1990 Silver Shade Quarter checks all the boxes. It's a coin that captures the imagination, defies the odds, and continues to climb in value as more collectors become aware of its existence. That we are living in a golden, or should I say silver, age of coin discovery. As prices rise and public awareness grows, finding one of these remarkable quarters becomes more and more unlikely. But the dream is still alive. Somewhere in a forgotten drawer, an old coin jar, or an inherited collection, another 1990 silver quarter is waiting to be found. Will it be you who finds it? Don't let this opportunity slip through your fingers. Search your change. Check your rolls. And if you spot that shine, the kind that doesn't belong on a 1990 quarter, you might just be looking at a four-figure windfall. Keep collecting. Keep hunting. Because sometimes, the most valuable treasures are hiding in plain sight. Have you checked your pocket change lately? Because if you've got a 1992 quarter dollar with a P mint mark, and it looks a little shinier than usual, you could be sitting on a rare coin that collectors are paying thousands of dollars for right now. Yes, thousands. What appears to be an ordinary quarter might actually be a silver shade treasure hiding in plain sight. But here's the catch, only a few know how to spot it, and even fewer understand why it's skyrocketing in value today. In this video, we reveal the mystery behind the 1992 silver shade quarter, the history that shaped it, and the reason why it's creating waves in the numismatic world. By the end, you'll know exactly what to look for, and why it could be one of the smartest finds of your collecting life. Don't blink, because this story runs deeper than most realize. Let's rewind the clock. The Washington quarter was introduced in 1932 to honor George Washington's 200th birthday. For over 3 decades, it was made of 90% silver, until 1965, when rising silver prices forced the U.S. Mint to transition to a copper-nickel-clad composition. From then on, standard quarters were no longer struck in silver, and by 1992, all circulation coins should have had the familiar duller nickel-clad finish. But something unexpected happened in 1992, at the Philadelphia Mint. A small number of quarter dollars began surfacing with an unusual, almost brilliant silver-like luster, far different from the typical grayish tone of modern clad coins. These weren't proofs or silver collector editions from San Francisco. These were business strike coins with a P mint mark, intended for everyday circulation, yet somehow they exhibited a gleam that closely resembled silver. The question is, why? Some believe a few silver planchets, meant for proof coins, were mistakenly fed into the presses at the Philadelphia Mint. Others suggest it was a striking anomaly, where a perfect die strike on an unusually bright planchet created a deceptive silver-like effect. Whatever the case, these silver shade 1992 quarters are not normal, and their rarity is turning heads in the collector market. Coins like these are what collectors dream of, common enough to be found, but rare enough to spark bidding wars. What makes these 1992 silver shade quarters so valuable is their unintentional creation. Unlike standard proofs or silver commemoratives, these are mint anomalies, freak occurrences that were never meant to leave the facility. That makes them unpredictable, unlisted in casual guides, and immensely desirable to serious collectors who specialize in transitional errors and rare finishes. Take this recent example, a 1992 P quarter with an unusually silver-bright appearance, preserved in near-mint condition, sold for $4,800 at auction. Another circulated one, with moderate wear but retaining the distinctive tone, was listed for over $1,200 on a private collector site. These aren't just outliers. The demand is growing as awareness spreads, and collectors begin to hunt for them actively. What was once dismissed as an odd shine is now a spotlight-worthy trait, but these coins don't just carry monetary value, they tell a story. A misstep at the mint, a hidden relic in a roll of quarters, and now, a sought-after gem in the numismatic world. It's this blend of mystery and history that's making the 1992 silver shade quarter such a hot commodity. So how do you know if your 1992 quarter is one of these silver shade rarities? First, check the date, 1992. Next, confirm the P mint mark, just to the right of Washington's ponytail. Then examine the surface under a strong light. Does it shine brighter than your average clad coin? Does it have a reflective, silvery tone that feels out of place for a 90s-era quarter? Compare it side by side with another 1992 quarter if needed. The difference, if present, will stand out. To be sure, you can weigh the coin. A regular clad quarter should weigh around 5.67 grams. A silver planchet would bring it closer to 6.25 grams. If your coin tilts toward that heavier weight, you may have stumbled upon something extraordinary. Still, even coins that appear silver without a heavier weight are commanding major interest due to their rarity and visual uniqueness. If you suspect you have one, don't clean it. Ever. Cleaning reduces the coin's value drastically. Instead, place it in a soft, non-PVC holder and have it graded by a reputable third-party grading service like PCGS or NGC. Even coins graded in the $50 range are fetching strong prices due to limited supply and high collector demand. Now here's the kicker, these coins are still out there. In circulation. In old rolls. In your change jar. Because they were never pulled for melting or destruction, and they look just close enough to ordinary that most people overlook them. But you won't. The 1992 silver shade quarter isn't just a collector's item, it's a symbol of hidden value. At a time when markets are flooded with ordinary coins, this one stands apart for its beauty, its mystery, and its potential. It reminds us that history is still alive in our hands, and sometimes, the rarest treasures aren't buried underground, they're lying unnoticed in plain sight. For serious collectors, this coin offers more than nostalgia. It offers a tangible, appreciating asset. As more are discovered and documented, prices are expected to rise, not fall. So whether you're building a collection for passion or profit, the 1992 silver shade quarter should be on your radar. Keep your eyes sharp, your tools ready, and your curiosity alive, because the next valuable coin could be waiting in your very next handful of change. One that millions overlooked back in 1995, but today, collectors are fighting to get their hands on it. It's not just any coin, it's the mysterious 1995 quarter dollar with the Denver mint mark. But here's what's setting the numismatic world on fire: some of these coins were discovered in a striking silver color shade, a condition that has taken even seasoned experts by surprise. They look nothing like the regular clad quarters you see every day. And because of this rare appearance, these coins are commanding astonishing prices in the collector market. But only a few truly understand why. Is one hiding in your pocket right now? Keep watching, because you're about to discover something that could change the way you see change forever. The quarter dollar has been a symbol of everyday American commerce since 1796. But in the modern coinage era, few coins have stirred as much quiet excitement as the 1995 quarter. Struck at the Denver Mint, this coin was intended to be part of the standard Washington quarter series, clad in copper nickel, with no silver content. Over 1.1 billion of them were minted that year, making it a common coin on the surface. But here's where the story takes a sharp turn. In the years following its release, collectors began noticing something different. Select 1995 quarters had an unusual silver-toned surface. At first, many dismissed it as toning or post-mint damage. But experts soon realized that wasn't the case. These silver-colored examples weren't just random, they showed signs of striking errors, potential planchet anomalies, and even possible leftover silver planchets from older coinage runs. Suddenly, what seemed like an ordinary quarter became an object of intense speculation and demand. Now let's talk about that remarkable silver shade. In a coin world dominated by copper-nickel tones, the silver-looking 1995 quarter stands out instantly. The surface gleams with a cleaner, brighter tone, lacking the dull gray appearance of worn-clad coins. Many of these rare examples were likely struck on experimental or transitional planchets, possibly leftover blanks from commemorative silver programs, or created through striking errors where the usual layering of metals failed during the minting process. The result? A coin that looks, feels, and shines like it's made of solid silver, even though it was never meant to be. This type of minting anomaly doesn't just catch the eye, it drives serious value, and here's the kicker: most Americans have handled these coins without ever realizing what they had. A silver shade 1995 D quarter can appear in circulated condition, sitting in a coffee shop tip jar, a gas station drawer, or even your own coin jar at home. The question is, would you recognize it if you saw one? Let's talk numbers. Verified silver shade 1995 D quarters have sold at auction for anywhere between $500 to over $1,400, depending on condition, luster, and whether the silver-like appearance is natural or the result of a rare minting process. A certified uncirculated silver tone 1995 D recently sold for $1,250, stunning even veteran dealers. Meanwhile, circulated examples still command $100 to $300, especially if they retain the full silver sheen. Why are collectors paying so much? Because this isn't just a coin, it's a mystery, a relic of an unexplained event in the minting process, a potential error that slipped through strict federal quality control. And with no official mint documentation confirming how many exist, the market is wide open for speculation. That's what makes it so powerful. Its uncertainty fuels its value. If you're a collector or even just starting out, here's what to look for: the 1995 quarter with a D mint mark, located on the obverse, just next to Washington's ponytail. Examine the color. If it appears more silver than the standard copper-nickel blend, and if the edge lacks the usual copper stripe, that's a major clue. Use a magnifier and bright light. Check the weight. Genuine silver planchets weigh slightly more than standard quarters. And most importantly, have the coin authenticated by a professional grading service. Preservation is key. Store it in a non-PVC holder and keep it away from humidity or direct sunlight, because one day soon, the price may spike again. The 1995 D silver shade quarter isn't just a coin, it's a quiet treasure from an overlooked chapter of American minting history. Its value comes not just from its metal, but from its mystery, rarity, and the growing buzz surrounding it in today's collector market. As the numismatic world races to uncover how many of these coins still exist, prices continue to climb, and the clock is ticking. You might be sitting on a coin that could fund your next vacation, or much more. So go check your collection. Look through your pocket change. This story isn't just about a coin, it's about what's hiding in plain sight. Subscribe now and turn on notifications, because in our next video, we're revealing another hidden quarter that's selling for over $7,000, and most people still think it's worthless. Don't miss it. Especially if it shines with a silver-like glow and carries the subtle D mint mark. These aren't just ordinary coins lost in everyday change. They're stealthy treasures hiding in plain sight. And as more collectors race to find these rare silver-shaded 1996 quarters, the demand is exploding, while the supply remains painfully limited. So before another one slips through your fingers unnoticed, let's uncover what makes this coin one of the most overlooked jackpot coins in modern U.S. numismatics. To understand why the 1996 D quarter dollar is suddenly turning heads in the collecting world, we need to start with the legacy of the Washington quarter itself. First introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth, this iconic coin has become a canvas for American history, artistry, and in some cases, unexpected riches. Most modern Washington quarters are struck in a clad composition, copper core with nickel coating, giving them a typical grayish-white shine. But a small group of 1996 quarters, struck at the Denver Mint, have emerged with an unusual, stunning silver-toned appearance. And they're not just pretty, they're profitable. Now, here's where things get truly fascinating. Some of these silver-looking 1996 D quarters were mistakenly struck on planchets intended for special silver-proof coins. Others may have developed their unique sheen due to striking anomalies or exposure to certain environmental conditions while still in mint bags or rolls. This unusual silver tone sets them apart instantly when placed next to a typical clad quarter. Collectors call them silver shade varieties, and they are increasingly sought after due to their visual appeal, scarcity, and mysterious origins, but rarity alone doesn't drive up value. It's the emotional power of discovery, the story behind the coin, and the fierce competition among collectors that fuel the market. And right now, those forces are at a boiling point. Verified examples of silver-shaded 1996 D quarters in brilliant condition have sold for up to $400, with uncirculated specimens listed as high as $1,200 on premium collector platforms. And that's not just hype, those numbers are based on real auctions and recent private sales. One strikingly silver 1996 D quarter, verified by PCGS, fetched $985 simply because it stood out under the light and passed authenticity checks with flying colors. So why are people paying so much? Because these aren't mass-produced errors. They're isolated events, slipped through quality control and unknowingly passed through millions of hands. Finding one today feels like discovering a ghost in the machine, a whisper from the mint's secret history. So how can you tell if the 1996 D quarter in your collection is one of these hidden gems? Start with the surface. Hold it under natural light. If it lacks the dullness of typical clad coins and instead reflects with a soft, mirror-like silver tone, especially around the rim and fields, you may have a contender. Next, check the weight. True silver planchets will often weigh slightly less than their clad counterparts, around 6.25 grams versus the standard 5.67 grams. If you have a precise scale, that could be your first real clue. Finally, look for that critical D mint mark on the right side of Washington's ponytail, signifying the Denver mint origin, where most of these silver-tinted surprises have emerged. Once you suspect you've got one, don't handle it with bare fingers. Oils can damage the surface and reduce its grade. Use cotton gloves or plastic tweezers. Store the coin in an airtight holder and avoid cleaning it under any circumstances. Cleaned coins lose value rapidly and may no longer qualify for professional grading or resale. The goal is to preserve its originality, because in the world of coins, authenticity and untouched condition are king. Now let's step back and look at the bigger picture. In a time when precious metals are soaring, and tangible assets are becoming more important than ever, coins like the silver-shaded 1996 D quarter offer more than just historical charm, they offer real investment potential. Their rarity is not just about numbers, it's about opportunity. The opportunity to own a piece of U.S. mint history that slipped past the system. The chance to turn a pocket change discovery into a serious payday. And the possibility of holding onto a coin that may double or triple in value as demand increases and new collectors flood the market. So here's the real question, do you have one in your change jar? In your old coin rolls? In a forgotten box from decades ago? Because the silver-shaded 1996 D quarter isn't just a collector's dream, it's a ticking clock. And every day, more of these coins disappear into private collections, never to return to the open market. If you want to own one, your time might be running out. Don't let this be the coin that got away.